Good morning and welcome to the second day of our Swoon Sadie Sew Along. Today we'll be working with the flap and with adding the accent pieces as well as the magnetic snaps. I know yesterday I mentioned you only need one pair of magnetic snaps, and I realized why I said that, because when I made my first Sadie I did not put a snap on the back pocket. I only put one on the front flap, so that's why I remembered I only needed one. But actually the pattern, if you do it as per the pattern, and I think I'll do that today, we'll put two magnetic straps, one on the back pocket and one on the front flap. So I have my two snaps here. I separated them because look how strong they are. Like, it's insane how strong these magnets are. So I had to separate the female and the male into different bags so I don't have to fight with them right now. And we're gonna add those today. So let's start with the flap and with the accent. You will have 4 accent pieces. Make sure that you have them laid correctly, because they have a direction. Let's see. We're gonna start with them. Okay. So one set of accent piece will be on the front piece, and one set of the accent will be on the back piece. And I think I remember correctly. No, it was like this. They have, you can use your pattern piece to make sure that they are placed correctly. See, your accent piece is drawn on the pattern piece. So if you lay your pattern like this on one side, you can make sure that you place your pattern the correct way. So it's like this. All right. You can use two, like a strip or two of woven double-sided tape. You can use Wonder Tape, or I use this quilter tape I get from Amazon. I'll link everything in the comments. It's less expensive than Wonder Tape and it works just as well. So you can add a little bit just to hold it in place. It will help you when you stitch down your accent. And if you use vinyl, you only have one layer, or a cork. You should only have one layer unless you want it to double like me. If you used woven, you will sew 2 mirror images right sides together along the curved edge, flip, top stitch and press. This will have raw edges because this will be enclosed in the seam allowance of the bag. Alright, so with those, this is my bag's front piece, and it has fleece on the back. So the most important part when you sew accent pieces like this is to go very slow. It's so easy to go fast on your machine. I remember when I learned to drive, because I learned to drive very late in life. It was actually my husband who taught me how to drive, and he used to tell me how hard it is to go slow and how easy it is to go fast. And I find that it's applicable to sewing as well. Alright, and you can baste around the outside too. This will be enclosed in the seam allowance, so it doesn't have to be too pretty, it's just a basic. Okay. And of course we're going to be repeating the same steps for the back, but on the back your accent piece will be added to the outside pocket. This is an industrial machine with a walking foot, so it makes sewing stuff like this a breeze. If you're using your regular home machine, because you don't really need one for this pattern, honestly. It's easier if you have one, but you don't need an industrial machine. You can do this pattern without any issues on your home machine. You will have to use a walking foot or a Teflon foot, or just place water-soluble stabilizer in between your presser feet and your vinyl, so it slides a little easier. Alright, so let me take that pattern piece again and double check on the back that I am adding my accents correctly. Alright, so this is the back pocket panel, one of them. And it is like this. Alright, so you can once again place a little bit of a strip like this so it stays in place. And then one more strip here. And this is, I believe, step 2 of the pattern. Today we'll be doing steps 2 through 5. Alright, let's sew this. Again, these accent pieces are optional. If you don't want to add them, they have no function. They're just for a visual interest. You can definitely skip this step. When you sew with vinyl or cork, not necessarily cork, but mainly vinyl, it's important to use microtex needles so you don't leave big holes in the vinyl, because unlike fabric that you can iron and make the holes slightly disappear, when you work with vinyl, once you puncture a hole in it, it's done, it's there for good, and you don't want those to be too big. A microtex needle will have a very fine tip. Alright, so this is the back pocket, one of the back pocket. Then I have the front pocket, the front piece. And now we're gonna have to work on the flap and with the and adding the magnetic strips. Let's do the magnetic piece on the front first. And this you'll add, I'm using the marking on the pattern, so I can see the center will be right here. So I'm going to use the washers that come usually with your, if I can zoom you in a little bit. Alright, so see, there's a washer that usually comes with this. So at the point that I did my marking, which is 6 inches from the top. Okay, so right here I have my marking in blue. I'm going to match with the hole of the washer and then make the 2 side markings. And using a seam ripper, I'll put 2 holes. And put my female. I believe it's the female that goes on this, but I can check if the male goes on the flap and the female. Yeah, I think it's the male that goes on this after all, based on the graphic. Alright, so putting my male piece here. And I am going to reinforce it with, double check that this is halfway. Because you want to make sure it is halfway. Okay. Reinforce it with a little piece of, although you have shape flex here, you probably don't need it. You don't need to reinforce it. Alright, there you go. Then you're going to take your flap lining and add and complete the pair. So you'll add the female piece on the flap lining, and again there is a marking on the pattern piece for the flap. Let's make sure we do it on the lining, so the one with no image, no graphic. And you want to double check that it's going to be centered. So this is the center, and I will fold this to make sure that this is correct, and it's right in the center. See, I had a feeling it wasn't quite centered, so I feel like it's easier to just find the center this way. See, I was off a little bit. So it's here, and again take a washer, and this time I'll add Peltex or Decovil Heavy because it's just woven fuse here and it's not enough, especially with how strong these snaps are. So I'm drawing this line here. You can see it better here. This is the center, and then I drew the 2 lines on the side, and then I will make 2 slits with the seam ripper and add my female snap. Now, if you don't have any snaps and you don't want to go out, especially during these times, and you just don't have any way to get a turn lock or magnetic snaps, you can leave it without. I mean, the flap will just flap over and will stay with gravity, and the pocket doesn't really need the snap. My last bag, the one with apple white, doesn't have a magnetic snap on the back pocket, and it's just fine. Like, don't stress if you don't have these magnetic ones. There you go. I added just a little bit. So this is the flap lining, and now for the other pair of magnets they will go on the back piece and the back pocket. So we'll work with those two, and they will be 6.5 inches from the bottom on both of them. Okay, no, this is the front, this is the back. Okay. So these will be 6.5 inches from the bottom. Let me just find the center. And again, you can use your pattern piece, or you can just measure 6.5 inches. And it's right here. And actually this one was supposed to be with, no, this is the pocket. Okay, so I need the pocket lining. Oh, it's actually not on this one. It's not on this, it's on the pocket lining. In my case, I use the same fabric, so it's easy to get confused. That is the outside of the pocket, so we're not gonna work on that. My bad. We need the pocket lining, so one of this, which in my case looks the same as the bottom, but the bottom back has fleece. So on the right side of this, you will have to add at 6.5 inches from the bottom. So here, I think I put my marking on black, so I might need, yeah, this 6.5 inches. Okay, so it's here my marking by zeros here. Okay, and again with a washer, I'll make the holes, and this on the back bottom, which is the one with the fleece, you'll add the snap on the outside. And I don't think I need Peltex on the back because it has the fleece backing already. So let's do the mail on this one. And you can tell I didn't add it before. There you go. Okay, so this is the back bottom panel. It's the one with the fleece. It has the male snap. And then on the lining of the pocket, also at 6.5 inches from the bottom, you will add the female. So here. Here is the circle, again using your washers. And this time I'm adding Peltex because it's only interfaced with woven interfacing. And there you go. Oh, and these were my 2 rainbow magnets, but I think this bag is worth it. I only had 2 of them, but hey, it's worth it for this bag. So again, with the Peltex, I just mark where by pushing a little bit, I mark where my feet are. Just put the 2 slits, slide it in like this, and then the washer on top, and just press on the sides. All right, so we have all the snaps added. So this is the back. This will be a lining of the pocket. And then you'll have, this will be on top of it. So this is how the back will be. This is the pocket, the back, and we'll continue tomorrow with the rest of it. Now I just want to do the flap, and it's the last step of the day. Take your flap pieces, right sides together, and sew around the U, leaving the top of the flap open. You'll sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and at the end. Alright. And now you have to trim your seam allowance to 1/4 inch if you've used woven like I have, just so it lays nicer when you flip it. If you've used vinyl for the flap, yours will be a little thicker, so I encourage you to trim it to 1/8, so closer to the stitching than 1/4 inch. Alright, flip it inside out. Give it a good press if you've used woven or cotton lycra. If you've used the vinyl, just do a little finger pressing. So pretty. And see, the magnetic snap is on the lining here. So we're just gonna do a top stitching. Top stitching will look a little nicer with a longer stitch. So if you want to increase your stitch length to 3, 3.5, and top stitch 1/8 inch away from the edge. There you go. So we are done with the steps for today. We have the accent pieces, then we have the snaps, the flap. So take a picture of your progress for today and post it in the comments of day 2 photo of the Sew Along album in the Facebook Backstitch Backroom group, and this will count as your check-in for day 2. Tomorrow we'll continue sewing steps 6 and 7, I believe. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.